Hello and welcome to the fifth video of my JetCar project mini-series. This one is about the model training. Originally I started training my models on my own PC, but with easily generating many thousand datasets, that takes days to train on. I quickly realized that I used my PC more as a heater. So I moved my training sessions to Colab in the cloud, where you can get the same results in hours. But to get started with this, you will need a Google Drive account to store the data, so Colab can fetch them from there. It will also store the results back in your Google Drive. You need to zip up the dataset folder and upload it as JetCar dataset.zip into the subfolder JetCar. Let's go over to Colab and open the notebook. This is how it looks. There are some comments at the top explaining what this notebook does. And then there comes a downgrade section. Why that? I initially wrote this notebook over 2 years ago, and when I tried it again in 2023, it wasn't working anymore. Google had updated Colab to a newer Python version, and my Catalyst version was not compatible with that. In result, I had to add this downgrade code here and some other workaround further down to be able to use it again. I guess I will have to update this whole notebook at some point. After the downgrade, a list of all imports is following that are necessary for the execution. After that, there are all the constant definition for the notebook. Here is the number of classes as used in the masks. Then there is the initial learning rate, which will be conditionally reduced in the execution. The batch size of 200 only works with Colab Pro and high RAM settings. Make sure to set the runtime type accordingly. I normally use the settings for A100 and high RAM. For the standard Colab, you will have to reduce the batch size drastically until it fits in memory. Below the constant definition, there's a part to mount the Google Drive to get all the data. Let's start the notebook to see what happens when you get there. The notebook asks for permissions to access your Google Drive. You'll have to confirm to access the specific account listed and then hit allow. The notebook will now download the dataset to its virtual machine drive, unpack it and continuing from there. Since it all takes a while, I sped up the video here. When it's done, the notebook shows the number of downloaded datasets for training and validation, and the number of test images. Further down it will display one random dataset, but since it didn't use the same color map, the colors in the mask here are different than used in the application. At some point you will find the tensor board, which should be set to scalars to graph the data when they come in. Down here we finally got to the training. Each epoch takes some time, so you will have to be patient to see the first results. Again, I skipped the waiting time and you can see the outputs from all the epochs. Whenever the results are better than the results from the previous epoch, all model weights are saved. But it doesn't just save them locally. The notebook writes back those weights to the Google Drive. So whenever the connection is lost or something else unforeseen happens, the training results over hours are not lost. You can restart the notebook and it will pick up the last saved model weights and start from there. But you may have to adjust the learning rate manually. With a number of epochs passed, you can now also check the TensorBoard output. You can select different graphs here. I just had the loss open, and as it should be, the loss goes down. Back to the training, you now just have to wait for it to be done. As said, it might take hours, so let's cut it out. When it's all done, you will find more files in your Google Drive. Again, here's the file with the model weights. There's a log file and there's the prediction file. The model weight file can be downloaded and copied directly into the JetCar. The prediction file contains the model output for all the test images. This prediction file can be downloaded and unzipped into the data folder of the image segmenter, for instance. Again, the images in the file explorer appear black because of the low values of the class codes. But when opening the image segmenter application, it now found the prediction folder and it will toggle the display on the right side between the created mask and the predicted mask from the training. Here it is a pretty good match. There are some artifacts on the side, but that's no problem. In the next image you see more differences, but still minor. The model did generate the invisible line as lane limit between our lane and the continuation of our lane on the other side, which is pretty impressive. It didn't do that for the second lane, but that wouldn't even cause a problem here. The next image has some big rips in an opposite lane code, which is not great. But it wouldn't interfere with the JetCar going on the right lane. Going through more of the predictions, it turns out not to be perfect, but not bad either. It would be better to have very consistent mask creation and some training improvements, but we can get to that later. That's the end for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and got you interested in watching the next one. And feel free to click the like button. Goodbye.